And as the nation remembers those events 11 years later, a man who served our country faithfully right here in Middle Georgia has his own unique memories of that day. Joining me to talk about his experience at the Pentagon on the day of the attacks is former Robins Air Logistics Commander and retired Major General Robert McMahon. General McMahon, we appreciate you being here today.
Andrew, thanks for the opportunity to share some thoughts.
This is such a historic day. It always is. Every September 11th, you think, you know, it's been 1 year later. You think that the pain would subside a little bit, but it doesn't.
I don't think it ever will, and I don't think it will for any Americans. When you think about 7 December 1941, generations afterwards always knew what that meant. And I think 9/11 will be exactly the same thing.
Now, you were at the Pentagon on the day of. Tell me about the moments that led up to the first explosion. What were you doing? I know you were probably watching what was happening in New York.
We were all transfixed by what was occurring in New York. We wondered what it meant. The first hit, and you're going, how could something that crazy happen? How could a pilot fly in? And then I think we all understood when the second one occurred. And then we were all somewhat dumbfounded as to what it truly meant. And then the aircraft hit. And I didn't hear it. I didn't feel it. But then all hell broke loose about 2 seconds later.
I mean, was it controlled chaos at the Pentagon? What was it like there?
I was tremendously impressed with the people that were there. Clearly, folks understood that something tragic had happened. The alarms had all gone off. But there was a very orderly movement out of the Pentagon in the area that I was. That those that seemed to be bothered by it, those that were crying, someone helped them. It was just much like we saw across our nation, people pulling together. But as you walked outside, and this was on the south side of the Pentagon, the first thing that hit you was this acrid smoke from the fire that was from the structure burning and from the aircraft burning. And everybody knew exactly what happened then.
And we have some video rolling right now of the Pentagon. And I mean, when you look at this video right here, what goes through your mind? You were there. And for a lot of people, I know everyone saw it on television, but the people that were actually there in New York, in Pennsylvania, and in Washington, D.C. on that day, what was it like?
I think what people remember as they were outside, first we watched as heroes went back in to help those that had been injured. We watched people from in the Pentagon do that. We watched the first responders come in not understanding what to expect, but going in anyways. And I think we were angry, we were sad, but at the same time tremendously proud as we watched people respond the way that we would have hoped they would have.
It's that weird combination of anger, sadness, and pride that we all felt on that day. How did 9/11 change you personally?
Well, I think perhaps most importantly, it's the first time in my life that I felt prejudice, that someone did something to me not for who I am, but for what I am, an American. And I think throughout my life I'd heard about prejudice, but had never truly appreciated what it was. And this, for the first time, I actually saw what it meant.
Well said. General McMahon, I appreciate you coming on this historic day.
Thanks very much, Andrew.